Food is fuel for your body, your mind, and definitely your sport. But let's face it, nutrition is confusing, and the expectations on girls and women to be thin and have a six-pack are exhausting. If you've ever been frustrated with your body, confused about nutrition, obsessed with eating healthy, or guilty when you don't, underate, overate, or overtrained, and overwhelmed with all the pressure, then this podcast is for you. Nutrition can be easy, you can take control of it, but it might start with letting go of control by asking for help and making a change. I'm Lindsay Elizabeth Cortez, sports dietitian and owner of Rise Up Nutrition, where I empower female athletes to overcome nutrition concerns and perform at their highest level, to stop being confused by all the mixed or harmful messages, and finally have confidence in your body as a fierce, fit, and fueled female athlete. Hello, female athlete nutrition fans. It's your host, Lindsay Elizabeth Cortez, host of this podcast, sports dietitian and owner of Rise Up Nutrition. We're doing a solo episode today, and it's been a long time because we've had great guests, and I love all of our guests, and it's been really awesome conversations, but it's nice for me to just pop in from time to time. And yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Bear with me as I really just speak into the mic, sort of free-flowing thoughts. I do know what I want to talk about today, and to give you a heads up, this will probably be a good episode for other like-minded dietitian individuals who might be entrepreneurs or interested in doing their own thing, RDs to be, if you've been following along with my business journey and kind of like interested in that, because I want to give you all updates about more the business side of things and what I'm doing over here at Rise Up Nutrition and this podcast as well. And frankly, some changes that are happening. So I want all of my fans to kind of know what changes have happened or may be happening. And with that, I'm going to tell you more about the alumni program that I started. That's one of the changes. And for those of you who are not clients of Rise Up Nutrition and really just enjoy listening to me talk about nutrition, like this is still a good episode to listen to because I'm going to drop just a little bit of some of the nutrition stuff that we've been doing in the alumni program. And yeah, so that's it. Let's just get right into it. You know, when I first started my business, Rise Up Nutrition, I had many business coaches to help me along the way. And one of them, I remember, sharing just entrepreneurship lifestyle that people get into doing their own thing, their own job, creating their own job, their own business for one of three reasons. It's either going to be for money, for freedom, or for impact. So basically not letting a paycheck limit you and being able to set your own rates or grow exponentially. And, money is a huge driver for people to do their own thing instead of being limited by a paycheck. Freedom, the freedom of working where you want and setting your own hours and not having to do the strict 9 to 5 Monday through Friday approach. Or the impact, like really doing something that you love and the impact that you can have on other people or the world, not just doing things because that's what your job requirement says or that's what your boss told you to do, but because of the impact that you can have on others. Now, the reality is, as an entrepreneur myself, all three of these things have been important and have played a role throughout all stages of business. But I think when I first started, freedom was definitely a big driver. For me personally, I had a stable job that I liked, but I decided to make some decisions for life reasons. And I moved to Texas with my now husband. And at that time, I started applying to jobs, and just the idea of, frankly, having another boss, going into the office, it really wasn't appealing to me. I was thinking about my future, and I love work and I love what I do, but I knew that I didn't want to always work full time. I definitely envisioned a life of me having more freedom. I also envisioned a life of me building a family and therefore maybe being part-time mom, part-time, worker. And so freedom was a big driver for me in starting my own business. But with that being said, there's so many things that I could do as a dietitian, and impact is really what shaped Rise Up Nutrition. I mean, I have the skill set as a dietitian to help people with creating meal plans or managing blood sugar, or even, no joke, when I first moved to Texas, I was actually meal prepping food for local clients. So I could have continued to do that and meal prepping every single Sunday, just hours and, dozens and dozens of meals for other people. I could have kept doing that, but it wasn't fulfilling me because it didn't have the impact on people that I was looking for. And Rise of Nutrition, specifically helping female athletes overcome disordered eating and using food as fuel to perform better, that's where my heart was. I knew that I could impact and literally change somebody's life. And if I could just help somebody, just one person, literally a year, then I knew that it would be worth it for me. And I'll never forget my first few clients that I had in starting this business. That sure, I was hardly making money. I was in complete debt. I maybe only had one or two clients, but it's because I knew I was impacting their lives that motivated me to keep going and not go back to Sunday meal prep for local clients. So impact was a huge, huge driver for me. And I also just want to, give a shout out and a thank you to some of my very first clients back in 2018 when I started Rise of Nutrition that, trusted in me. Yes, I had been a dietitian for a long time, but it was a new venture of doing my own thing. And this brings me to the third, reason people get into doing their own business, which is for money. And that's why I have to thank my first few clients, because in trusting in me, they did also pay me. And that is what allowed me to keep going and not have to go back to a 9 to 5, because I will tell you that first year was rough. I had built up a savings account. I had worked full-time jobs and had savings for years and years prior, but I blew through that savings really fast and started to go into debt. First time in my personal life where I was starting new credit cards, literally just to get by month to month. So it was a scary time. And with that being said, business doesn't operate without money. I knew that I had to keep getting clients. Otherwise, I was going to have to throw in the towel and, go get that 9 to 5 job, because that wasn't going to be a way to keep living. So that's the reality of branching out and doing your own thing. And money is an important part of this to have a business. So thank you to my first few clients, because it's because of you trusting in me in those beginning stages that I was able to keep the business going, which has now impacted hundreds of other people because of you, my very first few clients. So with all that being said, I think after that first year, money has not been a driver, and freedom not so much either, because then it was I have the freedom. I've built my job, I set my hours. So the money and the freedom hasn't been such a driver because it's been there over the last few years, and it's the impact. Everything that I've been doing as far as work that I do with my clients, sessions I do with them, videos I make, handouts I make, courses I put together, content that I put out on social media, this podcast that I put out, I do it so that I can have impact on other people's lives and hopefully educate, empower, and change the way that female athletes fuel their bodies. Literally just today, I had a networking phone call with another dietitian who recently came across this podcast. And sometimes I think the universe is sending you messages exactly when you need it, because I was actually, to be frank, really struggling from a standpoint of work-life balance. And I got this networking phone call today, and she really just boosted me up and was like, "You're doing a great job and the podcast is amazing. Please keep it up." And I kind of shared with her, yeah, time is really difficult right now because I have an 8-month-old baby and he just started crawling, and, keeping things like this podcast up is a challenge. And, she gave me great advice of give yourself grace and be patient with yourself, and good things are going to happen. And so I just want to thank you, Lee. I'm giving you a little shout out. You're going to be so excited when you hear this, but thank you for that phone call. And just know, all of you listeners, that continuing to do this podcast, it is for you and the impact that it can have on your life. With that being said, life has changed, and that work-life balance as an entrepreneur is really interesting. I don't know that it is so simple as work-life balance, because it's like your own business is so integrated to your life and your life is so integrated to your business. I truly cannot just walk away from the office at 5 o'clock and not think about it again until 9 a.m. My own business is a constant thing on my mind. My clients that I'm working with are a constant thing on my mind. You're not a thing. I didn't mean to put it that way, but you know what I mean. It's a constant of how can I impact and change people's lives and what's the next step with the business. And as you might be able to imagine, that's been rather challenging since having a baby. Nobody said motherhood was going to be easy. I did not expect it to be. But one of the interesting things with motherhood so far is that it is also constantly changing. It's not so black and white, just like, okay, I'm a mom now. Literally every month is different. I could say every week is different as he progresses, and that's not going to stop, right? He's 8 months old, and it's going to be a big difference between an 8-month-old and a 15-month-old, or a 15-month-old and a 3-year-old. So I've got many, many years ahead of me of constant changes and adjusting and adapting. So with that being said, if my life is changing, business has to change too, because really they're one and the same.
Hey fans, I hope you are enjoying this conversation so far, and we'll be back to it in just a moment. But first, I want to pause and let you know that this episode is brought to you by the Female Athlete System of Transformation, aka the Fast Track to overcome disordered eating and use food as fuel to perform at your highest level. The Female Athlete System of Transformation is my unique program and proven systems to guide female athletes to understanding and implementing the proper nutrition for their sport, life, and health. Myself and my team of registered sports dietitians work one-on-one with clients to address their unique needs and counsel them through the nutritional and behavioral changes needed. Many female athletes who resonate with disordered eating, mental guilt around food and body, relative energy deficiency in sport or female athlete triad, amenorrhea, repeat injuries due to negligent nutrition, or frankly, just a lack of knowledge and understanding on their fueling needs, have seen incredible success in the Fast Track. After years of working as a sports RD, I've compiled the most effective ways for female athletes to learn nutrition, be supported, be challenged, and ultimately find their success with fueling as fast as possible. So don't wait another day. Get to your goals faster by joining the Female Athlete System of Transformation. Look in the show notes or head to the website to book a free call and learn more. Okay, now let's get you back to the conversation. Enjoy.
And so what are these changes? Well, first and foremost, many of you know, and you've heard from my assistant sports dietitian, our lead nutrition success coach here at Rise of Nutrition. Her name is Jenna Stranzl, and she has been on the podcast before, and she's been working with me for a year and a half now, and her role continues to expand and grow as she works more closely one-on-one with clients, as her time is more open than mine is at this moment in time. So that's one of the changes. And I'm really, really proud of Jenna. She's a great sports dietitian. She has been for years. She actually has more years of experience than I do, which is something I was looking for when hiring a dietitian. I wanted somebody who I could literally confidently say, she's better than me. And I am so proud to have found Jenna and to have her alongside me working with clients, because I know that when she's having a session with a client, she's giving them quality and trustworthy information, and it's coming from her heart as well. I am still working one-on-one with clients because it's actually my favorite part of my job. Truly, truly is. I love having close, intimate connections with clients, but my time is limited. Like, literally, people always say time is money, but like when you become a mom, it's an even more real statement, because you have to pay a nanny or a daycare to take care of your child for those hours that you are working. And so with that being said, if you've been listening to the podcast, or you've been a client of mine, or you've gone on my website, you might have known that we were offering 2 programs, the Female Athlete System of Transformation, as well as an online group style program. Well, we have decided to close out that group style program. This is one area where, between my personal time, and that time is money, and me needing more freedom in my life, combined with, frankly, feedback we get from our clients value and appreciate the one-on-one work way more. And it's really interesting because there's value in group settings. Like, even the fast track, we have a group aspect to it. We have a group call once a week. We have a group chat going, and it's really, really powerful when you are part of the group. You have these conversations with people more than just yourself, more than just you and your dietitian, but actually talk to other girls and women in real life experiences and share them and actively overcome them together. I cannot stress the power of a group aspect. However, these conversations are delicate and nutrition is individualized. And I've just learned over the years, the one-on-one approach towards nutrition is so, so important. And in my group style coaching program, that was, the feedback we kept getting was it was really good. I learned a lot, but what I valued the most was when I had that one-on-one time. And so it's one of those things where business is always changing. And I need more freedom and I care about the impact I have on clients. So at this point in time, we've closed out and ended group coaching, and we are focusing solely on the female athlete system of transformation, our kind of one-on-one coaching with a group aspect to it, but to help you with your fueling. As one door closes, another one opens. So in other feedback we were getting from our clients is that over the years, we've had a few different ways in how we support ongoing clients. When the fast track ends after their 12 weeks, what's next? Because nutrition is a journey. I will stand by our promise that in 12 weeks, you will make huge transformations. However, nutrition is a journey and it's not always this linear process and life changes. And so we want you to know as clients of Rise of Nutrition that you will always have your team and your dietitians to fall back on. And so we've kind of revamped how we did continuation options. And this summer we launched our brand new alumni program. So if you're listening to the podcast right now as a former or current client, then I want you to know about this amazing opportunity. I'm not going to go into all the details for all the listeners who aren't alumni, but it is an amazing opportunity to continue to have your nutrition team and dietitians to fall back on if needed, as well as to continue to learn. Every month we have a unique topic where we learn. I give you new recipes. I give you some challenges. And what I love about this is it's less of a need and it's more of this is what helps you keep moving forward. Just like if you're an athlete, you don't learn how to play basketball and then never play basketball ever again. No, you're going to do it every day. You don't run a race and then be like, okay, I'm a runner, but I'm not going to run ever again. No, you run most days of the week and you keep up your training and your skills. And it's the same thing with nutrition. We've done the fast track or if you're in my shoes, even my nutrition is good, but I have to keep up with my nutrition every single day. There's always areas for improvement and ways that we can fine tune or challenge or explore or learn. And that's what the alumni program is doing. So just to give you some feedback from some of our clients in the alumni program, Jen, one of our members, had this to say. I finished working with Rise Up Nutrition 1 year ago and was looking for more coaching to help me continue on my journey of being fierce, fit, and fueled. The alumni program came around just at the perfect time, allowing me the opportunity to continue to work with the amazing team and have the support of many other female athletes. It's just what I needed. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to participate in the alumni program. Ava, another one of our alumni, had this to say. It's been 2 years since I primarily did the Rise of Nutrition Fast Track program. The transformation I had after the first 12 weeks of working with Lindsay was amazing and life-changing. My relationship with food and choosing food on menus is still amazing, and I have food freedom. I still can't believe I was able to achieve this amount of food freedom in such a short time. After 2 years, my goals have become less college sports focused and more lifestyle focused. Despite these changes in focus, the alumni program covers a wide range of situations and topics. One of my favorite parts of the alumni program are their monthly challenges. It helps me set monthly intentions, and I'm excited to bring those intentions into my life. Being back in the program helps solidify what I've previously learned and come back to a supportive and positive community. No matter what your question is, there's no silly question, and Lindsay and her team always have such knowledgeable, thoughtful, and caring responses. Additionally, insight from the rest of the Rise of Nutrition community is priceless. Rise of Nutrition has provided me with lifelong lessons and a community that you can always count on. So thank you, Ava and Jen, for sharing your experiences. And again, if you're listening to this as a former client, it is not too late to join the alumni program. Basically, every month we start a new deep dive topic and get together as a group. And as well as that, you will still get one-on-one attention. As I already mentioned multiple times, individualized nutrition is super important. So I don't want to discredit the purpose of the alumni program and sit here and give you just all the information that we went over the first 2 months, but I do want to give you a little snapshot or preview for just some takeaway topics. So in July, our focus topic was on hydration. And we had a lot of learning with that. But one of the challenges I set the girls up for was to track your hydration every single day for a week. And I set them a goal of 90 ounces a day. Now, we also talked about calculating out their personal hydration needs, and we did that as well. But just as a generic thing, this actually comes from the American College of Sports Medicine, that active female athletes should have 2.7 liters of fluid a day, which is just about 90 ounces. And so we thought, why don't we track that for a week and see how we feel? So when I did this, I actually found myself that tracking it, bringing attention to it, helped me stay better hydrated all day. I very often, I think I do pretty well with hydration, but very often suddenly at nighttime, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm thirsty. And I find myself kind of drinking a lot of fluids, basically dinner and beyond. And that week that I was tracking it, I did so much better about hydrating earlier in the day, earlier and often. Another thing that happened the week that I personally was tracking is I traveled. I had a flight and a long car ride. Weekends that you're traveling are definitely times when we don't do as good with hydration, whether it's because you're nervous to pee on the plane or, you didn't stop to refill your water bottle or we're just distracted and busy. And by me tracking it that weekend, I can honestly sit here and say that was the best I've ever hydrated while traveling. And I truly felt good. Sometimes long car rides and plane rides, like you don't feel good. You feel lethargic, like you don't eat as well. And I seriously, just by focusing on my hydration that weekend, I felt energized. I felt good. And I shared that with the ladies of the alumni program afterwards. The reality is that I think I do better with more than 90 ounces a day, but having that as a goal, especially during times of travel, was really, really helpful. And I know this as a fact because in August, I traveled again and I did not track my hydration and I struggled. I really did. I ended a vacation recently and I was like, wow, I definitely felt slowed down, a little lethargic, had a couple of headaches, and I literally feel thirsty. And it's because I was not bringing that attention to my hydration. So that is something, it's like this takeaway lesson that was good to do as a challenge, but I really learned from it. And it's something I really want to keep bringing attention to in my life. And I would challenge all of you to do that as well. Sometimes, especially during travel, focus on just one thing, literally one thing. And hydration plays such a huge role in our health. Maybe we just start there. This month's alumni topic is all about post-workout recovery. And there's so much that we talked about, but I'll say this. Most clients assume that recovery means protein, protein, protein. And I dug into some recent research and literature reviews, all 2018, 2020, 21, really recent research. And it was so interesting that just over and over and over again, it's the carbs that were really pushed for athletic recovery the most. In order to fully restore muscle glycogen, it is your carbohydrates, and that is what dictates performance. Muscle glycogen dictates performance. So protein will absolutely help you restore protein balance and recover muscles and maybe reduce some soreness, but over and over and over again, when we're talking about how will you be successful as an athlete, your carbohydrate intake in the post-workout meal as well as all day long is what really dictates muscle glycogen resynthesis and therefore recovery. So I think all the girls in the alumni program, it's they've heard me say carbs, carbs, carbs 1,000 times over again. But even I myself, as I was presenting it and digging into the research more, was yep, here it is again. We cannot ignore this. We need carbs as athletes. And what if we all this month brought more attention to our carbohydrate post-workout? And one of our ladies already did some of the challenges that I presented to them. And she told me, literally within 2 days, she was like, that was the best I've ever recovered after a long run. So those are some of the things that we are doing in the alumni program. So if you're not currently a client and you're like, but that sounds cool, I want to be a part of that. Well, you do have to be a client first. So maybe the fast track is the right option for you. Or what we are doing as well is what used to be our group coaching program is now turning into an online self-study course. I know it's not the exact same as one-on-one coaching, but it is an option for people who don't need the one-on-one stuff, don't need the fast track. You can do the online course, and that's a way to get your nutrition foundation prior to joining alumni group after that's done. Anna Grace had this to say about the alumni program so far. The program is helping me to refocus on and revisit my nutritional as well as mental needs, and it's enabling me to get more out of every training session. It's also facilitating me to build off all of the progress I made last year from finally fueling my body and keeping me from sliding back into that hole. The benefits of a supportive community and a dedicated leader like Lindsay committing with you to eat and recover adequately for your health, despite the cultural pressures to eat less and move more, remove every shred of fat from your body, et cetera, cannot be overstated. So again, hopefully you can hear it in my voice. Impact. I love that I get to impact people's lives. And I love that we're doing this alumni program because it's a way that clients who have made progress have built that foundation of nutrition and health and mental changes and transformations on fueling can continue to be supported and challenged and encouraged and learn and grow. Impact matters, but freedom is the only way that I can keep this business going so that I don't hit burnout. Structuring the business in a way where we are focusing on one-on-one clients in the fast track with the help of Jenna, my assistant, and supporting the alumni program in a little bit more hands-off approach is what will allow me to keep moving forward. Which kind of brings me to everybody else, potentially everybody else listening to this podcast right now who's not a client. I hope that I'm still impacting you, and I want to let you know about some changes coming up just as a listener and as a fan. This podcast takes time and money to make. And because it has an impact, I've always been willing to do it. But because my time is so limited right now, and because time is money, it is getting harder and harder to do it. Besides taking maybe at least an hour to prepare and an hour to record. And then of course, managing the team, the amazing team that I have behind me of people who are editing and writing the show notes and arranging for guests. The time, effort, and money that it takes on a weekly and monthly basis to keep this podcast going is significant. So with that being said, after nearly 2 years of the podcast being completely sponsor free, it is one of our goals for the final half of 2022 to begin sponsorship. So wanted to say that to all of you as fans. If you notice that shift, I just want you to know where it's coming from and why. We are currently in conversation with a handful of premier brands and companies, in my opinion, but it's a really slow process of, having the delicate conversations with them and how we're going to do this in a way that is in alignment with my business integrity and mission, because I don't want to just have sponsors just to have sponsors. I want it to be companies that are truly in alignment with the Rise Up Nutrition mission. Brands and products that I would recommend for myself, my family, my clients, and therefore all of you as listeners. By allowing this podcast to be sponsored, that helps with the money aspect of business, and money does help with my freedom, and it allows me to keep having impact to all of you every week tuning into the show. Another reason that I wanted to share that with you guys is because I am a big believer in stating your goals out loud and manifesting them into your reality. And so as I mentioned, we are talking to quite a few companies at this very moment, but I'm throwing it out there to the universe. If you are listening and you are a company or a person that wants to sponsor this podcast, please reach out to me today. info.riseupnutrition@gmail.com. We are looking for amazing brands that want to share their mission in helping female athletes, whether that be through female specific products or clothing, or perhaps top quality nutritional foods, beverages, supplements that you think this community can benefit from. We have a platform that we would love for you to join us in supporting, fueling female athletes. So reach out if you are a company or person who wants to have this opportunity to impact the lives of others through sponsorship of the Female Athlete Nutrition Podcast. So there you have it, listeners, a little smorgasbord of topics today, a little motivation on hydration, post-workout carbs, my excitement about the alumni program, my excitement about the opportunity for key brands to support the mission of female athlete nutrition through podcast sponsorship, and really just the honest conversation with you all that entrepreneurship and business and motherhood is not easy, but the impact that I can have on others is what keeps driving me. And the only way that I can have such an impact is if I can create a little bit more freedom and space in my life so that I can balance motherhood and all the joys of that while still impacting others. And allowing business to change as life changes is just so, so key. In entrepreneurship, the moment you think you have something figured out, something's going to change. And I guess to be completely honest with you, that's what motherhood has been about too. The moment you think you've got it down, something changes developmentally. And I swear I came back from vacation last week, and the amount of mobility that progressed in a week with Gabriel was just so intense. I feel like I came back from vacation with a whole new baby who is crawling all around the house and climbing up on things. And I was like, okay, we're playing a different game now. So constant adjustments. Thank you all for being a part of this journey with me. I'm doing it for you. So I appreciate you all tuning in and listening. Reach out if you want to be a part of the alumni program. Reach out if you want to take the first steps to becoming a client in the Female Athlete System of Transformation, or by taking our online course, which can be found at www.riseupnutritionrun.com. And I can't wait for you to hear from our amazing sponsors in the next coming weeks and months. Thank you all.
I really hope you enjoyed that episode, and thanks for listening. But before I let you go, I have free resources that you can have access to right away, right now, so that you can start fueling your body as a fierce, fit, and fueled female athlete. First, I have your Red S recovery race. If you've ever wondered if you might be struggling with Red S, curious to learn more, or know you have Red S and are looking to recover fast, then you can head to www.riseupnutritionrun.com/RedS and download the Red S Recovery Race. See how you place and figure out the next steps to recovery. Plus, while there, I have a few other great resources for you, including 3 nutrition secrets that every elite athlete swears by, and access to our private Facebook community, Female Athlete Nutrition. So again, to gain access to all of this, head to riseupnutritionrun.com/RedS. That's /REDS. And you can gain access and get the help you need fast. Too many girls and women and female athletes struggle with nutrition, but you don't have to any longer. Become fierce, fit, and fueled. Links in the show notes, and I'll see you next time.